Howdy, Possum Patty here. Yes, and today we are making faux handmade paper with real lavender. Now the point of doing faux handmade paper is taking any old sheet of paper, this is cheap mixed media paper, and giving it a very precious handmade look by adding some elements to it and some texture. Now you want the elements to look like they're embedded inside the paper, so we're going to put something on the top after we add the elements. I will explain everything as we go along. I've got some pieces of embroidery, floss, and thread. I'm going to pull a couple of those out. I got a little bit of sparkle. I couldn't find any purple in my magic closet, but I got some pink party sparkle. Of course, I got my lavender. Oh, and I got my flower press out. I'm going to open this up and get some flowers out of here because I might want to add a few flower petals. I've got matte medium. You can use Mod Podge, whatever you have. I do have some sparkle Mod Podge here. I might add a little. We'll see. Okay, so I've got a brush. I think I'm pretty well set for right now. So why don't we get started? Come on along. I'll be using this faux handmade paper on the back of the page that I painted the other day. I did add a piece of fabric, and this is just Dollar Tree fabric from the honeybee set I got probably not that long ago. And I just used a glue stick and glued it on and punched some holes because it's going to go into my ring-bound Alice in Wonderland journal with the special shape pages. So I'm going to move that aside for right now, and I'm going to put this aside. I'm probably going to take a little piece of this and make a pocket there and then a journaling card. So I'm going to do a large sheet, but before I do that, let's open this up. I believe I did this in the spring. You do not need to leave your flowers in the flower press for months at a time, no. And I was going to press lavender, but I didn't do that. You know what? I do have some lavender out there, I think, that's still blooming. So I'll empty this out, and then maybe one of these days when it's nice and dry, I'll go out and pick some lavender. Now, if you're picking cut flowers, you pick them in the morning when the dew is still on the ground. But if you're drying flowers, you pick them in the afternoon when the sun has warmed them up and they're nice and dry. This flower press is handmade by a friend in Pennsylvania. And she took two of these wooden plaques, I think from A.C. Moore or Michael's, and she stenciled them, and then she drilled some holes in the corners and added these very long bolts and wing nuts. Whoop. And then on the inside, she glued some of this corrugated cardboard. I would suggest using more of a chipboard than the corrugated because these corrugation, is that a word? Corrugation, actually shows up on the flowers. So, and then she has layers of papers and more corrugated cardboard. Like I said, I think I would use a different kind of cardboard. Maybe someday I'll replace it. Are there flowers in here? See, even the newspaper is starting to feel like corrugation there, look. I know I put flowers in here. Okay, where are the flowers? Oh, here's the flowers right here. Almost went right by them, look. See how delicate they are? Almost went right by them. And these are the Johnny Jump Ups I did in the spring. And you can press your flowers in a book Just put something heavy on the top. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? The perfect ones are not going to get ripped up to go into the paper. No, they'll go on a, oh, see that one ripped? I don't want to leave them in here too long, and I probably left them in here too long. That's a good one. Let's see, I should make a pile of the ones I'm going to use and leave the good ones over there. Any one that breaks will go in here. The good ones will go in there. And every year I'm like, I've got to remember during the season to press my flowers. And so this year it was like spring, and I went out there and I'm like, oh, the Johnny Jump Ups, the little pansies. I'm going to get them. And I did that. And then I forgot all summer about doing more. Oh well. And they're very delicate. Very delicate. I think there's a few more, but you don't need too many. You can also do this with some flowers if you don't have any that are dried, but you have some right now that are blooming and you want some instant dried flowers. You can do this in your microwave by putting the flowers between some paper, and then I use ceramic tiles and I bind them together. You know, people are always in a rush to get everything done these days, so they've developed microwave dried flowers. These flowers are very thin. They'd probably dry real quick. These came out really sweet, didn't they? I'll have to do a journal page with those, but that's not what we're working on today. And I'm just going to close this up for now, because if you don't put these nuts back on, these wing nuts, the whole thing falls apart. That's another thing, you know, I should get Mr. Possum to give me a nut to put there, right there, or so this bolt doesn't fall out every time I open it up. It's an easy fix. You know what? I think I'll go give it to Mr. Possum. He likes little projects. I got to keep him busy, you know? You know what? I've had this for, you know, like 10 years, and I just now thought of that. And I don't think about that until I like open it up and the whole thing falls apart. I mean, these bolts come right out. And just now, while talking to you, I thought about that. Isn't that funny? So thank you for that inspiration. Before I put some sort of adhesive down on the paper, I want to have everything ready. So I think I'm going to use the matte medium. Like I said, I'm sure you can use some white glue, sort of watered down a little bit, anything that you have. I want some fibers. So I'm going to look in here for some purple. I see some dark purple down here at the bottom. Oh, this has sparkly bits in it. All right, so I got some dark purple. I have some pink, some lighter purple. Probably don't need too many. Of course, I want the one that's stuck at the bottom, right? Isn't that always the case? Oh, there's gold in here. Gold and purple. Lavender. I want the thin pink. Some more gold. Some more purple. You can do a little bit of green if you want. Of course, now I've got those yellow and purple petals. So I don't know if I'll add yellow. I might. All right, that's probably way too much anyway. I'm going to cut up some lavender. It smells really good. It's going to go everywhere, but that's okay. It'll make the room smell good. I don't know if I want to put stem in there. How about leaf? Got some dried leaves here. So I'm making a page because we went to the lavender farm. So of course I have to have some real lavender, right? This is why I don't do my pages ahead of time, right? Because if I go to the lavender farm, I want real lavender in the page. And their symbol was the bee, so I had to put some bee material. I'm better off with just blank foundation pages when I make a journal. Although sometimes I use scrapbook paper, but a lot of times that gets covered up. I like these long, thin leaves. I think they'll look good. I'm pulling the petals off of the Johnny Jump Ups here so I can separate them on the page. This gold thread is like a double twist. I don't need a lot. I don't want to overwhelm the paper. I just maybe want a variety of little things in there. I haven't made this in a while now. Okay. Some purple thread. Get some light purple. Do we need green? I've got green leaves. You could put little pieces of fabric. You could put colored bits of paper, different kinds of papers in there, like little confetti bits. Anything you want that's relatively, flat. Okay, what else do we need? All right, got that. Okay. So, one more thing that you need is the very thin, almost translucent piece of tissue, maybe like from the back of a napkin. And actually the thinner, the better. This one's a little thinner than the other one. So if you have a napkin like this, take 2 pieces of tape and you put one on one side and one on the other side like that. And you pull them apart. Voila! Now you have the inside of a napkin. Ooh, oh, this one's got a little bit of dye or paint from the napkin on it. Ooh, that gives it a bit of an extra interesting texture there, doesn't it? Sometimes napkins have 3-ply. Is this 3-ply or 2-ply? Let's see. Oh, this is, oh, look at this. This is 3-ply. Ooh, I bet you that would be gorgeous. I'm not going to use it on this page though, because, I want those flower petals and everything. But this is like a ghost print. Oh, that would be an awesome background on a page. All right, we're not using that right now. Maybe I'll do an extra page after while I got everything out, but I might use this one. It's almost like a little bit of a ghost print there. And because it's 3-ply, the layers are very thin, and that's awesome. That's what you want. So I'm going to put a little matte medium on here. I think I'm going to get a paper. I save the plastic lids off of everything. Squeeze a little bit there. Some people pour it right on the paper. I don't usually do that. I've got a nice soft brush. And I'm just going to load up. Maybe this is a big page, so maybe I'll do like half at a time. Put that right on there. Okay, now I'm going to put a couple of leaves. And I can use long tweezers. Where's my other tweezers? Some tweezers. Now you can make a pattern, you can make a design, you can just make it as random as you want. Okay, got to get this lavender on there. I'm rubbing it between my fingers, crushing it a little bit. I can cut more if I need more. Sometimes I'm really bad about the edges. I have to remember to bring everything way out to the edge. See, like over here. And let's see. Put a couple pieces of fiber. We don't need it this long, right? It's a bit of green. There's some gold. And you could just put a long one down if you wanted to, just sort of do like a random thread in there. Got the pink one, got a lavender one. You know, put just a couple of little sparkles like that. Okay, let's do the other side. Putting my matte medium all over this side. You could splash paint or ink on this if you wanted. There's so many different looks you could get. You could probably just have a sesh one day and make all different kinds of handmade papers and, you know, file them away, and then you have them to use when you're journaling. Okay, I'm going to put some petals on this side. Let's see, put a little more yellow over there. Maybe a purple. Oh, let's get some of those dried leaves in there. Up to the edge. Get some of that lavender. All right, now we got leaves, we got lavender, we got petals. Let's put some fibers. Got a thread. There's one thread. There's another thread. That side's drying already. And a green thread. Okay, we need something in this corner. What is this? I think that's a light purple. And put another pink one there. Another pink one there. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. Yippers. Now, we're going to take our napkin, which is not quite large enough. It goes almost to the edge. Okay, well, oh, just a little on each side. That'll be fine. Yeah. Okay, that'll be fine. So you see how it's going to look like the petals and the fibers, everything are embedded in the paper. I'm just pressing gently because there's still a little wet matte medium there. Okay. Now, I need some more matte medium. Well, this part is tricky. You've got to go very gently. Nice. Ooh. Everything's going to stick to me, I know. Nice soft brush. And very carefully, you're going to press the tissue paper into the paper, and it will rip very easily. So just take your time. Get out the bubbles. See, there's a bubble in there. There we go. I like those little bits of pink and yellow and purple coming through there. Looks like party paper. Now you could do this for any theme that you want. I'm doing lavender, of course, but you know, think of some fall paper, maybe with some dried colorful leaves and some threads in a fall color, maybe bits of an orange flower, or if you got some little sequins in the shape of pumpkins or acorns or something. Now, even though these leaves are dried, they're kind of puffy, but that's okay. Just take your time. I'm sort of pressing down on these little bits to get the air out. Little air bubbles in there. Make sure you've got enough matte medium or Mod Podge to cover everything. I'm loving, I don't know if you can see that, but that little bit of green along the edge and in here, that's from the napkin. I love the way that looks. And now I'm thinking that, you could probably stamp the napkin. Stamp it, sprinkle it with paint, spray the paper that's underneath. This is like gel plate printing. There's so many different things you could do. I mentioned the other day there was something I wanted to show you outside. And now I know it's almost the middle of August, but back in July, let me show you what I saw in the backyard. Now, sometimes we have an early fall, but that usually shows up in August. I don't remember leaves on the trees turning yellow and falling down in July, unless we're having a very dry summer, because if it's a drought, sometimes that stresses out the trees. And, you know, the leaves might turn, well, not really so much yellow, but, you know, more brownish and fall off if it's a drought. So I just thought that was very strange. I need to put that in my journal because, you know, 500 years from now, when somebody looks back at my journal and reads it, they're going to see that the trees started turning yellow in July in the summer of 2024. And they're going to wonder what happened. I'm still trying to enjoy the summer. But Mr. Possum said the weather changes in the middle of August. And last week was cool and rainy. But this week is supposed to be warm and sunny again. I'm hoping for one more beach day. Napkin around the edge should come off kind of easily where it got wet. Looking pretty good. It's almost dry. And I'm thinking that maybe because some of these pieces are kind of big, that I should put another thin layer on the top. This side's pretty dry. This side's still a little wet. All right. I'm going to put another layer on there, so that's not going to do anything. Yeah, I might sprinkle that after I get some of this on there. All right, let's see what happens. Just light layer, and then I'll probably let this dry overnight. I don't want it to blob too much around these little bits of lavender. But I want enough on there to make sure that everything stays in place. Yes. Well, I was going to use a little to sparkle Mod Podge, but now I'm thinking that I just might add a little bit more of this because, look, I didn't put any at the edge there. Okay, now we got a party going on here. There's a party going on this paper for sure, yes. I love how it came out, but I'm sure going to have to let this dry overnight. Let that matte medium cure on there. I know it's going to take me a couple of days just to do this one little journal page. No pressure, no rush. So when this is nice and dry, I'll come back and we'll take a little piece, a little corner of this, and make a little pocket and a journaling card about our day at the Lavender Pond Farm. Well, thank you for allowing me to share this process with you. Happy junk journaling. Bye-bye. Plant seeds and pick the blooms. Affirmations for a life of balance, creativity, and fulfillment. Every day, try to read a poem, listen to an inspiring piece of music, look at a wonderful painting, or go into nature. Our hearts are lifted and our souls take nourishment from creative inspiration and natural beauty. These are not luxuries. They are as necessary to our well-being as water or food. Keep open, and the world will enliven you in unexpected ways. Inspiration is in everything and every moment. See it, feel it, let it fill you up. Action. Find a favorite book of poetry or prose and read some inspirational lines. Make time in your day to enjoy art, music, or literature. And see the art in the trees, the music in the birdsong, and the poetry in the clouds. You will be inspired in unexpected ways.